spirituality behind love. Love is a decision. Part 4. We're about to get this party started. Okay, love. Let's review. First word, psychology. The scientific study of the mind and behavior. Decision, a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration and judgment. Spiritual, the Greek word pneumatikos, relating to the human spirit or rational soul as a part of man, which is akin to God and serves as his instrument or organ. Behavior, the way in which one acts and conducts oneself, especially toward others. Point of reference, something that is used to judge or understand something else. The source of love is God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. 1 John 4:8. God showed how much he loved us by sending his one and only Son into the world so that we might have eternal life through him. 1 John 4:9. The world has defined love somewhat right. And last week we learned about the 8 types of love. Eros, philia, storge, agape, ludus, pragma, philatia, I'm going to get that right one day. And mania, which is obsessive love disorder. Not a good thing. We're moving on. We're still in review. But what we must keep in mind is love is not a feeling. It's an action, behavior, emotion that starts in the mind. Love does not come from the heart organ. Love is not ignorant. One more time. Love is not ignorant. And the last of our review, what love is and does not do. And of course, we've got to start with the source, which comes from the scripture. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no account of wrongs. Love takes no pleasure in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 6 and 8. And love does not lie, cheat, manipulate, or deceive. Love does not emotionally or psychologically abuse. Love does not physically or sexually abuse. That is a crime. Once again, if you find yourself in this situation, please call one of the numbers on the screen and get assistance as soon as possible, because love is care. Okay, we're going to get started with the first part of our presentation for today, the 5 love languages, which was created by Gary DeMonte Chapman, PhD, who is also an American author and talk show host. Chapman is most noted for the 5 love languages series regarding human relationships that was published in 1992. He is the senior associate pastor at Calvary Baptist Church in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm sure most of you have heard about the 5 love languages and have, gone through some kind of teaching regarding them. So I'm going to try not to bore you too much with a lot of detail. However, there are some who may not have heard of them. So I'd like to also remind you that we all at least have 2 love languages. We have a primary and a secondary. So in the context of love, what it means, where it comes from, how to act within it, is where I want to place most of my focus. Based on how the world has evolved and the dramatically high divorce rate and lower marriage rate, perhaps this information may help to better connect you with someone that you love. For now, let's give a little highlight of each love language. First up, words of affirmation. is about expressing affection through spoken words, praise, or appreciation. When this is someone's primary love language, they enjoy kind words and encouragement as well as uplifting quotes, love notes, and cute text messages. Those are very effective. Physical touch. The person with physical touch as their primary love language feels love through physical affection aside from sex. They feel love when their partner holds their hand, touches their arm, or gives them a massage at the end of the day. Receiving gifts. Gift giving is a symbolic of love and affection for someone who has this love language. They treasure not only the gift itself, but also the time, effort, and thought the gift giver put into it. Quality time. Love and affection is expressed for someone with this love language through undivided attention. The person feels loved when you are present and focused on them. This means putting down the cell phone, turning off the tablet, making eye contact, and actively listening. Actively listening. The last one being acts of service, which can be a little difficult to implement if you lack planning skills, but it requires thoughtfulness and consideration. Acts of service is a language that can best be described as doing something that you know they would like or need assistance with. As previously stated, my focus is on the how to love within the 5 love languages. Now, here are just a few of the actions one could use when demonstrating love to your person. Now, this thing called love is mostly about being willing because love is a decision. And in the decision, the focus should be on the other person and not what you're looking to gain from the act. Let me say that one more time. Love is a decision. And in the decision, the focus should be on the other person and not what you're looking to gain from the act. Love towards someone else should be selfless. Baby, it is not about you. Yeah, I said it. Because someone will look at this and think, ooh, so this is how I can get next to him or her. That's just wicked. Love is not about getting. It's about giving. So let's stay focused, people. All right. Under words of affirmation, here are some things that can be said to your person. Thank you for whatever it is that they did. Just be appreciative. You are brilliant. That outfit is wonderful on you. I'm honored to be by your side. I'm so grateful for you. I love when you smile. I love you and like you. You're a wonderful friend. You're a wonderful wife. You're a wonderful husband. You're a wonderful child. This is even for children. You're a wonderful grandparent. You're a wonderful pastor. You're a wonderful niece, nephew. Anybody that speaks the love language of affirmation, that can be used. You did a great job, whatever it is that they did. Not to say that you lie, but if they did a wonderful job at whatever it is that they did, make sure that you let them know they did a wonderful job. Because there are a lot of people walking around doing things, and it's really good work, excellent work, superb work. But everybody likes to hear that they did a great job. So this is how you communicate with somebody that you love through words of affirmation. Next up, physical touch. Hold hands. Sit close. A little soft squeeze. A light back, neck, shoulder, arm rub. A little kiss on the forehead or cheek. Cuddling on the couch. Sit close watching television or a movie. A hand massage. Lightly touching the face. A kiss on the neck. Oh yeah, this will work for those who speak the language and love receiving physical touch. It does not have to be all out and blatant and disgusting, but just something warming to let them know that you see them, you feel them, you appreciate them, but you do it through physical touch. Next one, Receiving gifts. Make up a holiday like just because day and bring some kind of gift. Doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something small that they like. Some people like strawberries. Some people like not with the chocolate, but just some strawberries. Some people like candy. Whatever it is that they like. Buy lunch. Flowers. Doesn't have to be anything fantastic unless it's something that they don't like. Then bring what they like. A favorite meal, a book that he or she may have mentioned in the past, a surprise date to some place they may have mentioned, a special treat from the grocery store. Now, believe it or not, the grocery store has some things in it that we will walk past simply because we know we shouldn't have it. But, if you're giving a gift to someone that you love and they've been diligent in their healthy eating habits, it's okay to bring them something maybe once a month, every other month. You don't want to set them back on their healthy journey, but just something that will make them feel appreciated. The next one is quality time. Make a date night, a weekly occurrence, or either every other week. Watch the game with him or her. Yes, women are into sports just as much as men are into sports. So, yes, gentlemen that don't like sports, watch some sports with her. Go for a random drive. Go on a staycation. Put down your phone and social media. Come on, put down the phone. Stay off of social media, please. Movie night. Volunteer together. Food depository. Make a date of it. Make eye contact when talking. Take a class together. Let's learn something together. That could actually be fun. Take a walk in the park, along the beach, around, where you live. But anything that gives that person quality time alone with you will work miracles. Trust me. Acts of service. Wash the dishes. Come on. Just every now and then, wash the dishes. Do the laundry. Sweep, mop, vacuum the floors. Cook, if you can, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Either one. How about, a random snack? Uh, Take out the trash. Offer to wash his or her back when they're in the tub or the shower. That's an act of service. Fill the car with gas. Get it washed. Get it detailed. Brush off the snow if you live in that kind of climate. Do something they've talked about they wanted you to do, but you never got around to doing it. But surprise them with it. This is acts of service. But in order to perform this, you've got to be a really good listener, because sometimes people will talk about things that they want or they desire, and it's not necessarily a request, but it's more of a statement, because there are times, whoever it is that you are close to, they want you to know that you're hearing them, that you're listening to them. Otherwise they'll get distant, or they can become separated from you, because it's just one of those things where it's like he or she, they just don't even hear me. And so what's the point in being in a relationship with someone that's not listening to you? Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, how to and not to love within the 5 love languages. But as we reflect back on our previous topic of the 5 love languages, we must keep in mind that these languages are forms of communication. And without communication, there is no point in there being a relationship. Because if there's no communication, the relationship is guaranteed to break down and fall apart and be no more. Now, if you notice, sex was not mentioned in the description relating to physical touch. That's because there's obviously more than one way to love someone through physical expression without having sex. I'm sure some of you are saying, no, it ain't. Well, if you feel that way, this is for you. Passion and sex go hand in hand, but sex is not always considered intimacy, nor is it considered love as a standalone. Let me say that again. Sex is not considered love as a standalone. Unfortunately, we use the words passion and intimacy interchangeably, and that has caused much confusion among both the married and single folk. So, let's break it down. First up, the word intimacy. Intimacy refers to feelings of closeness, connectedness, and bondedness in loving relationships. It thus includes within its purview those feelings that give rise, essentially, to the experience of warmth in a loving relationship, which can include family and friendships. Passion refers to the drives that lead to romance, physical attraction, sexual consummation, and the related phenomenon in relationships, both loving and non-loving relationships. One definition is they call it a strong and barely controllable emotion. Oh boy. Yeah, that's where the spirituality thing can come in when we talk about self-control, but we're going to move on. Passion is highly dependent on the psychophysiological involvement. Psychophysiological or psychophysiology is the study of the relationship between physiology signals recorded from the body and brain to mental processes and even disorders. These biological signals may be generated by activity of organs in the body or by muscle activity. In other words, it's the study of the mind and body connection. Now that we know the difference, it is passion that drives us to desire sex. Therefore, sexual acts are generated based on the mind and body connection, which can be triggered for many reasons. The primary reason sex is not mentioned in the 5 love languages is because the world has misused it for evil, although God created it for good. Don't get quiet now, church. God's intent for sex was procreation. Man decided that since it was a psychophysiological event, they would use it for fun instead. Hence is where we got sin or sexual sin. So let's move on. Yeah, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about, oh, no. Okay, let me stop. All right, anyway, how to and not to love within the 5 love languages relating to sex. Now, this presentation is not to condemn, nor is it condoning sex outside of marriage. I must state that. I didn't write the script. I just read it and believe the truth. Here's the reality. Sex outside of marriage causes more issues than most of us are willing to admit. Number 1, sex is the biggest deceiver of love there is. Number 2, sex can cause mental disorders. Number 3, sex can cause physical disease. Number 4, sex can cause unplanned and unwanted pregnancies. Number 5, sex can even cause physical harm and even death. Number 6, sex can cause one to make very bad decisions. Number 7, sex out of control can cause problems with the law, both man's law and God's law. Now, from the spiritual perspective, sex outside of marriage is called fornication, which is in the Greek word porneia. Let's say it with me, porneia. What I find really interesting is the word porn is in there. But anyway, the meaning is the selling off or surrendering of sexual purity, promiscuity of any and every type is considered a sin. Promiscuity of any and every type is considered a sin. Like I said, I didn't write the script. I just read it and believe it. I find it interesting that the root word for, in the Greek is porn. Which is only used for the sole purpose of exciting people sexually. That's not what it's about, people. That's not how this was supposed to work. So, instead of looking at it as a constraint, we should view it from the angle that God is trying to protect us from ourselves and even others. Do I need to read the list again as to what could potentially occur when one has sex outside of its intended purpose? Bottom line is, that's why sex is not specifically mentioned in the 5 love languages. So on that note, let's go over some do's and don'ts, or how to's and how not to's per se. The don'ts. Sex should not be used for worldly gain. Sex should not be used for conquest. Sex should not be used only for fun unless you're in a committed relationship / marriage. Sex should not be used for physical or mental relief. Sex should not be used for revenge. Now here's where sex can be used. Sex should be used as one form of expressing love. Sex should be used for procreation. Sex should be used when there is a commitment. Sex should occur as often as possible in marriages. Alrighty, you ain't liking me, but that's okay. The truth is the truth, and it shall set you free. So on that note, I'm going to leave you until next week and our final episode on the subject of love, where we'll discuss the love triangle. And it's not exactly what you think it is. In the meantime and in between time, remember, your mental health affects your physical and spiritual health. Have a happy, healthy, functioning mind. And on that note, aha!